My boyfriend cheated on me with my mom. Not one drunk mistake. Not it just happened. He used our couple's healing journey as cover, turned my trauma into foreplay, and I literally invited my own mother into the process because I thought she'd help save our relationship. Now it sounds like the most insane Reddit storytime ever. At the time, it was my life. I'm 24. My now ex-boyfriend is 27. My mom is 46. For the sake of the story, call me Lily, my ex Ethan, and my mom Claire. Growing up, Claire loved to say, "We're more like sisters than mother and daughter." She dressed young, acted young, joked about my guy friends having crushes on her. Sometimes it was funny. Sometimes it was a lot. But she was also the mom who picked me up from awful dates when I texted a secret emoji, sat with me after my first breakup, told me I deserved better every time a guy hurt me. So when I finally met a guy who didn't look like a walking red flag, of course I wanted her to approve. When I brought Ethan to a family barbecue, she pulled me aside after he left and said, "Finally, a man who's not allergic to feelings. He actually listens when people talk." And she was right in the beginning. Ethan was attentive, asked about my anxiety instead of pretending it didn't exist, watched therapy and psychology videos with me and took notes, talked about boundaries and healthy communication like a podcast host. So the fact that my boyfriend and my mom clicked felt like a green flag. It wasn't. It was the opening scene of a horror movie. After about a year together, the shiny, perfect couple phase faded. Nothing crazy at first. I worked long hours and came home exhausted. He wanted more time, more closeness, more sex. I wanted more quiet, more space, more sleep. We started having normal couple arguments about dishes, money, weekends, future plans. But every argument somehow turned into a therapy session about me, about my childhood, about my abandonment issues. One night, after we fought about him wanting us to move to another city for his job, he said, "I feel like your reactions aren't even about me. They're about your dad leaving, and your ex's cheating, and all the stuff you never processed." Okay, I thought, fair enough. I do have baggage. Then he added, "I was talking to your mom about it. She totally gets where I'm coming from. She really understands the patterns in your relationships." That should have felt weird. Instead, I heard, my boyfriend and my mom both care enough to talk about how to help me. And yeah, Claire backed him up. She'd say things like, "Don't push him away every time you're triggered, Lily. He's not your ex. He's actually trying." So when Ethan suggested couples therapy, it felt like the responsible, adult move. After a particularly bad argument, Ethan sat on the edge of the bed and said, "Look, I don't want us to keep repeating the same fight. What if we did couples therapy? Not because we're broken, but so we don't end up like our parents." I said yes. We found an online relationship coach who advertised as a therapist, but honestly felt more like a self-help influencer with a degree. On our first video call, the coach said, "Sometimes it helps to bring in a neutral family member, someone who knows you both and can support the process." Ethan jumped in immediately. "Her mom, Claire. She knows us. She's emotionally intelligent. She really wants this to work." Claire didn't even hesitate. "If I can help you two stay together and not repeat my mistakes, I'm in." So now picture this. Me, my boyfriend, and my mother all in one Zoom call, dissecting my childhood and our sex life while a stranger in a headset nods and says MMM. The coach gave us assignments. I had to journal my triggers and fears. Ethan had to write down what he could do to respond more gently. My mom's role? To be a neutral witness and support. On paper, it sounded healthy. But very slowly, neutral support turned into something else. At first, I just noticed little things. During sessions, Ethan and my mom would share these tiny eye contact moments when the coach talked about emotionally immature men or partners who shut down. They laughed at the same jokes. They recommended books to each other. Ethan would randomly say, "I sent that podcast to your mom, she'll love it." One evening, offhand, he mentioned, "I was talking to Claire late last night about the session. She really gets what I'm trying to say when I feel alone in this relationship." I stopped at late last night. "Wait, you text my mom at night?" I asked. "Like how late?" He rolled his eyes. "Lily, it's not like that. We were talking about you. She just wants us to work. Are you seriously jealous of your own mom?" That hit me right in the guilt. Later, when I brought it up to Claire, she said, "Don't be dramatic, honey. We're just trying to figure out how." So I swallowed it. Again. The universe exposed them because of a sync setting. My laptop is connected to my phone, so all my iMessages pop up in the corner of my screen when I'm working. One night, I was typing an email. Ethan was in the shower, and in the top right corner of my screen, a notification slid down. Healing the couple Purple Heart. Participants: Ethan, Mom, our coach's number, and me. Only I had never been told about this chat. The new message was from my mom. "You were so open today. I'm proud of how much you're growing." Ethan replied, "Only because of you. I don't know how I'd get through these sessions without your support, Claire." Then my mom, "You deserve someone who sees how hard you try." Ethan, "I'm just glad you see it." I felt sick. I scrolled up. This chat had been active for weeks. Lots of messages from the coach about schedules, exercises, homework. But in between, there were long back and forths between Ethan and my mom, discussing my reactions, planning how to gently confront Lily, analyzing what was wrong with me. They were talking about me like a project, a joint case study. And between those paragraphs, hearts, inside jokes. "Haha, you're the only one who gets me." I took screenshots, closed the laptop. My heart was pounding, so hard it felt like it might shake the whole apartment. A few days later, my mom accidentally left her old iPad at our place. "I don't really use it anymore," she said. "You can borrow it for work if you want." It sounded off. One evening, Ethan went out for snacks. My brain wouldn't rest. I grabbed the iPad and turned it on. No passcode. Her iMessages synced right in. I wasn't trying to find sex. I was trying to find clarity. Instead, I found a separate thread. Ethan's speech balloon. They texted every single day. At first, "How do we help Lily open up? She shut down today. I think she's scared. We can break the cycle together." Then it shifted. Messages like, "Ethan, today I felt more like I was on a team with you than with Lily." Mom, "Careful, you're going to make me blush," pleading face. Ethan, "I'm not joking, Claire. When you hugged me after that session, I felt more seen than I have in years." My stomach flipped. Then I saw the word cabin. Mom, "I can't stop thinking about what we did at the cabin. We crossed a line." Ethan, "We crossed the line a long time ago. The cabin just made it honest." Cabin. Ethan, and I had never gone to any cabin together. But my mom had told me she once took him out to the lake to talk seriously about responsibility in marriage while I was working. I just sat there, staring at those messages. My boyfriend and my mother hadn't just gotten too close emotionally. They slept together. In her cabin. Ethan and I had never gone to any cabin together. But my mom had told me she once took him out to the lake to talk seriously about responsibility in marriage while I was working. I just sat there, staring at those messages. My boyfriend and my mother hadn't just gotten too close emotionally. They slept together. In her cabin. While working on healing me, I felt beyond betrayed. It was like discovering your therapist and your partner had turned your trauma into their fetish. I didn't blow up right away. I was shaking. I was furious. I wanted to scream. But I also knew how both of them operate. My mom always spins things into misunderstanding, and "You're too sensitive." Ethan always hides behind trauma, and "I just need to feel safe." So I needed a scene where they couldn't wiggle out. I saved everything. Screenshots of the group chat. Screenshots of the one-on-one texts. The cabin messages. The wine selfies. Photos of their hands intertwined in the car. Then, like the universe was writing the script, our coach dropped a message in the group chat. "I think it would be powerful to do a little in-person healing weekend." Claire mentioned her cabin by the lake. Neutral space, nature, time to really go deep. Of course my mom replied instantly, "Yes. Lily, Ethan, come Friday night and stay for the weekend. No phones, no work. Just us and honesty." Honesty. Right. I just typed, "Okay." I also made a short video on my phone, a mini compilation. Ethan texting me, "I love you, Lily. You and your mom are my whole world." Ethan texting my mom, "I can't stop thinking about you, Claire." If they wanted a healing weekend, they were going to get it. Just not the kind they expected. We arrived Friday evening. The cabin really was beautiful. Pine trees all around, a lake shimmering behind the house, warm yellow lights inside, fireplace ready to go. If you saw just a photo, you'd think couples retreat, not emotional crime scene. We sat at a round table, me, Ethan, my mom. The coach joined on a laptop screen propped up between candles. She started with her soothing, therapist voice. Tonight I want each of you to name your biggest fear in this relationship. No filters. No sugarcoating. Just truth. I stayed quiet. Ethan went first. I'm scared Lily will leave me, he said. That one day she'll wake up and decide I'm just another toxic guy like the men in her past. Mom stared at him with soft, wet eyes. I'm scared, she said, that my daughter will repeat my mistakes, that she'll never truly trust a man and will push away someone who's actually good for her. My hands were shaking under the table. Okay, I said. Want to know what I'm scared of? They both looked at me. The coach leaned forward. I'm scared, I said slowly, that while I'm pouring my guts out on camera for this healing journey, my boyfriend and my mom are having sex behind my back and using my trauma as a bonding exercise. The room went dead silent. The coach's face froze on the laptop screen. My mom's mouth fell open. Ethan let out this awkward, nervous laugh. Lily, that's not funny. I took out my phone, tapped the screen. On the TV behind us, I had already connected it, appeared the first screenshot. Ethan's name at the top. My mom's messages below. You were so open today. I'm proud of how much you're growing. Only because of you. I don't know how I'd get through these sessions without your support, Claire. Swipe. Another screenshot. The cabin texts. I can't stop thinking about what we did at the cabin. We crossed a line. We crossed the line a long time ago. The cabin just made it honest. No context could save that. Everything fell apart at once. The coach started mumbling something like, Okay, this is a lot. Let's all take a breath. I closed the laptop. Her face vanished. My mom grabbed the table edge, like she was trying not to drown. Lily, it didn't start like that, she said. We were just talking. We talked so much about your exes, about my marriage, about... So you slept with my boyfriend, I cut in, because you two were bonding over how I got hurt by other people cheating. She burst into tears. I was lonely. He was lonely. We never meant to hurt you. It just happened. I snapped. That line is older than both of you. Ethan jumped in. You pulled away, Lily. I felt like you didn't even want me anymore. Your mom, she actually listened. I didn't plan it. I just felt safe with her. You felt safe with my mother. I repeated. During our couples therapy, he ran his hands through his hair. I'm not saying it's right, he insisted. But everything we did, it came from wanting to fix things. Your mom and I both wanted the same thing, for you to heal, for us to work. I laughed once. It wasn't a nice sound. No, I said. You wanted to feel needed. She wanted to feel desired. And I was the sacrifice on your little altar of healing. They kept talking. We were confused. We crossed boundaries we shouldn't have. We didn't know how to tell you. I'd already heard enough. I stood up, walked to the bedroom, and started shoving my clothes into a bag. My mom followed me down the hallway, crying. Lily, please don't drive back at night. Stay, we can sleep on it. Talk again in the morning. I made a mistake, but I'm still your mother. I zipped the bag. Mothers don't sleep with their daughters' boyfriends, I said. At least not the kind who get to keep calling themselves mom. Ethan blocked the front door. Lily, you're in shock, he said. We can come back from this. I'll cut things off with your mom. I'll block her. I'll do whatever it takes. Just don't throw away everything we've built. I looked him straight in the eye. You threw it away the second you called this part of our healing journey, I said. You weren't healing anything. You just found an older version of me, more forgiving, more guilty, more willing to excuse you. He went quiet. Move, I said. He stepped aside. I got in my car and drove away from that perfect little cabin in the woods. I cried the entire way back to the city. At some point the tears stopped, and there was just nothing. A numb, heavy nothing. That night, in my tiny new room at a friend's place, I typed everything out and posted it anonymously on Reddit. No names, no locations, just the story. The post blew up. Hundreds, then thousands of comments. People telling me I wasn't crazy. People sharing stories about boyfriends sleeping with sisters, stepmoms, best friends. People saying, "I'm so glad you got out." My mom texted me, "You made me look like a monster in front of the whole internet." I replied, "You did that yourself when you got into bed with my boyfriend." Ethan sent a long essay about his childhood trauma, abandonment, how hurt people hurt people. He ended with, "We're all adults. We're allowed to have separate relationships." I answered with one sentence, "You were allowed to break up with me before starting one with my mother, not during." Then I blocked them both, changed my number, moved out permanently. Now I'm slowly learning to live with these facts. My emotionally mature boyfriend was just a skilled manipulator. My cool best friend, mom cared more about feeling desire than about my trust. And I, somehow, am still capable of building something healthier later. Ethan wanted a brutally honest look at our relationship. He wanted to go deep and face the real patterns. Well, here's the pattern. He and my mom absolutely deserve each other. And I deserve someone who doesn't work on his trauma. In my bed and my mother's bed at the same time.